I'm currently running a Mortal semi-synthetic engine oil. Just transforms the bike, and you feel that the engine runs a lot more cooler, and it's so much more smooth. It's a semi-synthetic oil. I don't use a fully synthetic oil, is because it's double the price and has a pretty similar lifespan. So at intervals like 3500 to 4500, this tends to wear out. And that too on aggressive use, not on gentle use. On gentle, subtle, day-to-day use where you don't run the engine too hot, this can last for 6,000 kilometers also. Moving on to the rear brake master cylinder guard. I got this off Amazon. This is brand named Nexus Gears, and I like how it sits here. I had the Continental GT heel guard before this. That was quite wide, and this stood out. This gels in well with the design of the master cylinder. Very happy with this. Don't really remember the price, but I'm guessing $1,000 for that. Metal, aluminium, real solid build quality. You don't have to worry about it after you've installed it. So that's that. Red Rooster performance exhaust, or whatever you want to call it. Free flow exhaust, does its job really well. Very, very loud if you don't run it with without the DB killer. The stock DB killer makes a kind of a little bit of a whistling, hissing noise. So I had to modify the stock DB killer. I have a longer DB killer now. The pipe runs till here. The stock one was only till here. Mine runs till here, and I've reduced the number of perforations on the steel tube. So this is a lot more quieter, and it also provides with higher back pressure. Tail lamp housing painted in matte black. These are fun. I got them off automobile parts store, and these are reflectors that I've managed to fix with the help of these L clamps. So they do their job really, really well. I don't know why only the export models get to have reflectors and we don't, but if you can see, they just blend in well with the motorcycle, and at the same time, anyone who shines light on the side of the motorcycle gets to see the reflectors first. That's the first thing that hits the eye. Sealant is anti-puncture liquid that I have poured into the tire, and I believe it's doing its job by staying there and nothing else. I had a nail go into the tire once, and it was an immediate puncture, immediate flat. In fact, when I pulled out the nail, the liquid started oozing out and it solidified, and I could fill in air, and so I thought my worries were over. And the moment I started riding the motorcycle again, the air started leaking from the same point, and lost control. So I would say some people swear by it. It has worked for some. It hasn't worked for me. This is a top box from Case. $5,500, and it's a 27-liter top box. Pretty nice size. Can hold a decent size helmet. Not my adventure helmet. Can hold a small helmet. And that's the inside of the box. Like you can see, one full helmet and maybe some bits and pieces on both the sides. Very easy to get on the motorcycle and get off. All you need to do is press this knob and you pull it out. Goes back in like that, and again press the knob, lower it in place, release the knob. That's how easy it is. These are more like bungee cords, but they are flat in nature. They're called rock straps from the brand Enduristan. I don't know where it is. Anyways, why did I get them? Because these hold luggage way better than the round straps. And I've also had some of my friends complain about the rear seat flying off. And so, for as long as there's no luggage on the rear seat, the job of this is to hold the rear seat in place. When I mount luggage, this will hold the luggage in place. And very strong, solid build quality. Love the product. That is a charging outlet again. I can use it to charge my motorcycle. I have taped it around here, so I'm not able to show to you what I mean, but just a second. This came with the tire inflator. Yeah, so that it works like this. You can see that's how it works. So you have the opposite male and female on the other end of the wire which goes into the tire inflator. It's an electric pump which puts out air, and so I have it hanging outside here on the motorcycle so that it's easy to access, and yep, managed to fix it. I want to talk about the most important thing and the most expensive mod on the bike. That would be the race dynamics. Yeah, so the most important mod on the motorcycle is this. That would be a race dynamics piggyback ECU. What this has done to the motorcycle, I can for sure say that nothing else has been able to do so far. So what I run on the motorcycle, why did I get this in the first place, is because I got myself a K&N air filter and a free flow exhaust. And what this does is this increases the airflow in the entire engine. So with the K&N air filter sending in more air, and with the free flow exhaust increasing escape velocity, you tend to have combustion happen a little too quickly, and the mixture is a lot more lean than how it is supposed to be. This particular engine comes as a lean burn engine from the factory itself. By that I mean this is extremely aggressively tuned for the emissions, and so it burns very little fuel compared to a 10-year-old machine. So what I had to do to compensate for the additional or the lack of fuel in the entire system was to put in another set of brains apart from the stock ECU, which tells the stock ECU that there is some lack in the system and you have to compensate for additional air that is going into the system. So with this I can easily tune the mixture myself. I am running a map that these guys provided. I've made some alterations to the map myself. I have increased the fuel on a certain RPM range, and it is a lot of trial and error. It's not a quick and easy fix like how you think. They provide you with a map, and that map does its job pretty well. But if you want to make your machine run to the fullest potential, then you ought to be able to understand how this works and do the necessary tweaking yourself. Another thing that I have installed here is this side stand extender. what this particular thing does is it creates more surface area for the vehicle to rest on the side stand. I mean, the stock side stand from the factory is just that much. That's the size of the stock side stand foot. And so what this does is it's more like an insert. It goes into the stock side stand and it creates a larger surface area. So the chances of the motorcycle sinking into sand or loose soil reduces with something like this. It's a very hardy piece of metal, very useful. I've experienced my motorcycle falling off many number of times when I park it a little casually onto different loose surfaces. But with this, I can be rest assured that this will stay. This will hold the motorcycle pretty easily. Another good investment. What I have next is my tank bag from Rhinox. This particular model is called the Rhinox Navigator. It's the smallest tank bag that they have for sale, and I just love it. It's a magnetic tank bag, like you can see. So it has 3 magnetic points with which it clips onto the tank, and that's pretty much all you need. This can take all sorts of little things like my gloves, my small toolkit, my electric tire inflator that I spoke to you about earlier, and maybe my documents and my cameras. And I've used this on my previous motorcycle as well. That was a Continental GT from Royal Enfield. More than happy to have had the pleasure of owning this. This is my Garmin Nuvi navigation system. Of course, I have my mobile mounted on this most of the times when I navigate through cities and towns where the mobile network or mobile tower does most of the navigation for me. But this particular thing comes in handy when you go off-road, when you venture into terrains where you know for a fact that you're going to be really far off from the nearest network zone. This would be around 8 to 10 years old, and this particular model is a Garmin Nuvi 205. With this, I've had navigation become a whole lot easier in terrains where there's no mobile network. So pretty decent one, but I am looking forward to upgrading the maps. I may buy a map from a third-party vendor like mapmyindia.com. Their maps are pretty expensive, 7,000 Indian rupees for an updated map that can be used on Garmin Nuvis. So just waiting for the right time to buy one. With that, I can definitely get lost without any worries. So that's another piece of equipment that I take with me on the motorcycle. Another thing that I did not speak to you about earlier was the Royal Enfield saddle stays. I got myself the factory ones, and I'm pretty happy with this. Very solid build quality, quite heavy compared to the aftermarket ones. So the ones who are looking to reduce weight, kindly stay away from this. Figure out some other option of mounting luggage. I have a set of dirt sack saddlebags, so I had to use saddle stays, and this was the best option available. So that would be it. This is my Royal Enfield Himalayan, and more than happy to be a proud owner of this machine. Every time I swing a leg over this machine, I just come to life, and it's been fun to own this. So if you like the video,